Well, Batsy, it's been a hoot as always, but I really must run. May the floss be with you.
Hello and welcome to the Fanatics of Film. Thanks again for joining me today. My name is Ben, and this is just a real quick review on the brand new Harley Quinn series that's aired on DC Universe. You can still make a better origin story than what she's been given. And of course, the quintessential origin story happened on Mad Love, which was an episode that aired on animated series, the Batman animated series. The original air date was January 16th, 1999, so right before the 2000s. So we've got this great story. So it was a one-shot comic book that written by Paul Dini, and he was the writer on the Batman the animated series and Batman and Beyond, and Bruce Timm. See, this is the great part. You've got people who are good writers who wrote the comic stories writing on the animated series as well. So you got the people who actually wrote these original stories writing for the series as well, and that's you've got a that's something to go with. That's actually a really good option. That's something that people would be down for. The Batman Adventures Mad Love is a one-shot comic written by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. So Paul Dini and Bruce Timm both, and they actually worked on those Batman Adventures and the Batman and Superman Adventures animated series and all those things, which were actually really good quality and still to this day considered good quality DC stories that were written and proven to give a good respect and a good adaptation of the character. So this is the plot summary here. We have, after having his latest plan to kill Commissioner Gordon foiled by Batman, the Joker retreats to one of his hideouts to plan his next move, but is being annoyed by his love-struck sidekick, Harley Quinn, and I hate that term actually. I'm not a fan of the term sidekick anytime, anywhere. Actually, I think it's silly and stupid, and kicks her out of their hideout. As Harley sits outside, she remembers how she met Joker back when she was the psychologist, Dr. Harley Quinzel, and spending her internship at Arkham Asylum. Harleen interviewed Joker and learned that he was abused as a child by his alcoholic father. And of course, after more interviews, Harleen determined that Batman was the source of the Joker's anger, but also that she was falling in love with him. Harleen became Joker's partner in escaping from the asylum in hopes that she could win his love. Harley decides that the only way to make the Joker love her is to kill Batman, which she attempts to do by feeding him to a school of piranhas. Batman distracts her by telling her that the Joker had been using her from the start, and that Joker's stories of an unhappy childhood were lies. When she tearfully insists that Joker really loves her, Batman convinces her to call Joker so that he will know she accomplished her goal, as the piranhas would leave no convincing evidence other than the bones and a tattered costume which anyone could fabricate. When Joker arrives, however, he is infiltrated, and Harley would try to kill Batman herself and knocks her out of a window, where she is found by nearby police officers. She basically falls like 2 stories. Joker then decides nonetheless to use the opportunity to finally kill Batman, which escalates into a wild chase ending atop a moving subway train. Batman taunts Joker by saying that Harley came closer to killing him than he ever did. Joker attacks him in range, but Batman sends him plunging into a burning smokestack. So back in Arkham Asylum, a severely injured Harley Quinn renounces the Joker forever, wanting nothing more than to heal and leave Arkham for good. A moment later, however, Harley finds flowers sent by her clownish beau with a get-well-soon card and falls in love with him again. So immediately, it's like this love-hate relationship. It's a relationship that's toxic and all these other things. And once again, it's never been about a man and a woman. It's never been about the evil man and the woman. I think it's just generally these are 2 people that are tortured, and unfortunately it looks like that she had fallen into this maddening romance, this romance that can basically brainwash somebody into believing one thing other than the truth. And so to me, it's actually a really interesting story, and I watched this original episode that aired in 1999. And it's actually a really well done, well written, compelling story between these 2. And I think that you could actually create, my personal opinion is that you could actually create something. If you were to rewrite her origin story or something, the way I would do it is to recreate it so that there would actually be, you would actually almost feel like there's a real love relationship going with her. And I get that. I mean, that's just to me what I would like to see. I would like to see an actual real romance happen between them, and then you tear it apart. But this show doesn't do that. So this show just barely started. Both of these, the original origin story that was done with Mad Love, what didn't really do her justice. I would, if I could, I would like to see her as someone who is truly tortured because she's so in love with him. You know, I would have gotten more of that, more of the real romance there, at least something that appears more like romance. It starts out with her immediately having to compete with him. So, which I understand, because that's, you know, how it began. And how he, I mean, at least in the original stories, you know, he had basically said some things like, Puddin', I'm the one who gives the punchlines, not you. You know, and she's like, yes, you know, that it's this thing where, you know, he gets to deliver the punchlines. He's the comedian. He's the one that wants to be in the spotlight, and so they are competing over that. Okay, let's raise a glass to our pyramid of money. What does he say? And he says, my fellow whites. You know, like they're just a bunch of rich people out on a yacht, and he's like, my fellow whites, let's raise a glass to a pyramid of money. Like immediately, right out of the gate, you're saying racist things. Like, this is, gentlemen, my fellow whites. Like, it's just I mean, with any other color, you would be literally slandered and treated like horrible things. And so Harley ends up, you know, she's the muscle. That's what she jumps into this whole thing, and they're just, you know, poking fun at her, laughing at her. You know, are we going to hang out with the Joker's girlfriend? No. Are we going to be intimidated by the Joker's girlfriend? Hell no. Blah. You know, there's over the top gore and over the top, you know, vulgarity, which is fine. It's just, and this is obviously a, you know, here we are on YouTube, like trying to defend our right to be able to actually speak about things that could potentially be a family audience, and here we are trying to defend ourselves of actual free speech. Here we've got DC Comics putting out this could so easily be misinterpreted by so many people who don't know the story, and then, you know, end up watching it, and Joker's taking this guy's you know, wearing someone else's face. So anyway, and so as a result, you know, Joker's the one who says that, who says, my fellow whites. So you got the Joker spitting racist rhetoric here, and it's just silly. And then they're just like burning people's faces off, which is with acid, which is fine. It's just, I mean, it's definitely over the top. Like, with the gore is definitely over the top, and the swearing is over the top. So they're their very first conversation, it's in competition. So we've got Kaylee Cuoco. She's playing Harlan Quinzel. And then we've got Alan Tudyk is playing Joker, of course. And then we've got Diedrich Bader, who plays Batman. And he was actually also in Office Space, thanks to Kermit. Kermit the Log reminded me of that. And so that was Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk, of course, is great. I loved Alan Tudyk in the Firefly series. As the droid in Rogue One was great too. But anyway, so it's just, so Joker leaves Harley at the scene after, you know, with Batman. He leaves her with Batman, and he takes off in a submarine that has like a siren. So that's kind of bizarre. But anyway, you can tell that she's, you know, she is over heels for him, and so those things are good. But then you have like this moment where you have you know, Commissioner Gordon, and he's just, the way he's portrayed is just horrible. You know, he's a fat old, you know, dude who's just, you know, not easy on the eyes, or whatever you want to call it. He's been through a few, he's had a few too many beers or whatever, and he's definitely not. So of course they have to portray, you know, a hero of of the police force as less than heroic. Then you have your moment where Harleen is brainwashed by this experience that she had, and she's suffering from a disorder, or at least from a brainwashing experience that has made her believe that he gave her a ring. So it's showing that she ultimately has like a really good heart. Me personally, and I get that, that's to you know, make you feel like you understand, or at least are portrayed, or that you can fall into this anti-hero's shoes. And so here we are 6 months later, and she's, you know, still thinking the Joker's going to show up. So that does portray it well. And I think that in general, a lot of this is like portrayed well. Like her character is definitely projected well. But once again, I feel like Harleen Quinzel, the character, is much more would be normally more intriguing than that. The intensity of her character and the intensity of the love or whatever is turned down by, you know, Poison Ivy. And I actually like Poison Ivy too as a character. I just think the writing could use a little bit of a workup. And so here, this scene, we actually have someone who looks like they could be the woman from Breaking Bad, Francesca Liddy, and she is played by Tina Parker. So that's who that is. And she that Kermit the Log pointed that out to me as well. We watched this show together and talked about it. So we'll be doing a full review here in a little bit. There are definitely some funny elements about this, or could be potentially comedic, but to me, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I think it was a worthy effort. It's just not, you know, to me, it's personally not funny. Maybe it wasn't made for me. Maybe this is only made for the people who want to go see the Birds of Prey film that's coming out in February. And that's what it seems like this is made for. This is made for people who, wouldn't have necessarily really dove deep into the Batman comics, which I have done from time to time. And so this scene, here we are with Harley, and she's beating up every guy in the room with she's got a straitjacket on. So that's, you know, okay. I guess that's fine. I don't know. I just once again, it's a cartoon, so we'll just let it go, I guess. But once again, we have this moment here, and we have the Riddler with a tattoo on his forehead, a giant tattoo on his forehead. So